And with the third pick in the 2019 NBA draft, the New York Knicks select RJ Barrett. These could very well be monumentally historic words for the Knicks franchise, similar to that day in '85 when we selected that center from Georgetown. This is the reason that the Knicks, at one of the most pivotal points in the team's history, offloaded their franchise player midway through the 2018-2019 season. This is the first and only top 3 pick the Knicks have had since that glorious day in 1985. Naturally, putting the most valuable franchise in the NBA on the shoulders of a teenager isn't always a reasonable ask. Just ask the countless number of failed top prospects over the years. But hey, we are Knicks fans. If we don't have hope, we're as good as dead. Now, I'm here to tell you that this chapter has closed and a new one beckons. RJ Barrett, he's different. His story with the Knicks franchise starts now, and how well he turns out will certainly influence the narrative of our story. RJ is the type of player that can turn this from a fairy tale into a nonfiction New York Times bestseller. He has pedigree, he has finesse, the kid can downright ball, and he is a stone-cold killer. But this new chapter isn't the RJ show, no. Drafting RJ Barrett is a mere page, maybe even a paragraph in this chapter. Hopefully, a chapter that, when all is said and done, is called simply Larry O.B. Now, let's take a deeper dive into RJ Barrett on this episode of the MadGood Knicks Show. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another special episode of the MadGood Knicks Show. Far here, T there, Pete over here.
Right here.
Don't go over there. Summon my man Jay back there. All right, so New York Knicks, we drafted him, guys.
I heard
we drafted him.
Job RJ Barrett.
My boy Al Barrett, a.k.a. Rowan, right? A.k.a.
Rowan Jr.
His name's actually RJ?
Commonly known as, but, you know, I don't know him like that, so
We're here to talk about it, though.
Let's do it.
We're here to talk about
I'm hyped. You hyped?
So I'm pretty excited, man. I'm pretty excited. We've been kind of predicting this for a month now.
I mean, it's not been much of a prediction.
It's not. It's neither here nor there, but it's over here. We got RJ Barrett.
Don't go over there.
We got RJ Barrett. We got to talk about him a little bit. So, immediate impact of RJ Barrett. We saw what he did alongside the number 1 pick, Zion Williamson, at Duke. What can he do for the New York Knickerbockers? Pete, let me kick it off with you.
Yeah, I think RJ Barrett, with his skill level and the skill level of the Knicks overall, he could be a primary scorer for us, I think. And I wouldn't say that on a lot of other teams. I think on other teams, the talent level would sort of surpass him. But I think on the Knicks, he could be the primary scorer. I don't think he's going to be the type of guy that is going to be like a gravity on the perimeter, because he's not really a spot-up, knockdown shooter. But at the same time, he does have enough athletic ability and enough size to be a good defender on the perimeter, especially if he develops his motor and stuff. Like, his defense was a liability. But yeah, I think for the Knicks, right off the bat, I think he's probably could be our best scorer. I mean, I don't really see anyone on the Knicks outside of him, taking that place.
Right off the
necessarily.
Barrett.
Right off the Barrett.
See, what do you got for me?
I gotta agree with you, but for a very different reason.
Sure.
I think RJ coming out of high school was projected to be, the top dog, the number 1 guy, and I think he's humbly placed himself in Zion Williamson's shadow.
Kid's got
and
a chip.
He does. So I expect him to come out the gate with something to prove. I think he's going to be aggressive. I think he absolutely has the chance to be a primary scorer on this Knicks team, just for the mere fact that, he's been improving his shot. He's been working this offseason on his jump shot. So although you said he's not necessarily a knockdown shooter just yet, I look forward to seeing him improve on his 40% clip from 3. I know he didn't shoot too well from beyond the arc in college, but that's going to change, my friend.
I won't say anything that you guys haven't already said, but I think spacing is key here. For a guy like RJ Barrett, whose game I truly believe he's the most NBA ready. And I think that across the board, across all the analysts, they say that he is the most NBA ready player in that top crop of players. So giving this guy space, are you kidding me? I think that shooting percentage is going to go up. I think his work ethic is going to bring it up. Right now, he can score from so many different parts of the floor that now just focus a little bit on shooting, and it's a wrap. This kid's gonna be great.
Well, you mentioned the spacing, though.
Yeah.
The way this roster is currently constructed, we can't offer him that much space, only because we don't have many primary three-point shooters
But
or
still,
perimeter shooters.
regardless of how bad the Knicks are in that shooting, I think going from Duke to the NBA will give him will give him so much space. It's gonna be
No, for sure,
like
sure.
a dream come true.
The pros with him is that even if he doesn't fit in right away, he's known to have a ridiculous work ethic and that sort of
Right.
alpha dog mentality. That helps.
Oh.
I think where I
Get
start-
him, boy. Sick him.
Exactly. I think where I start to worry a little bit is his lack of efficiency. I'm not entirely sold that that's going to go up in the NBA because he's going to be facing a lot more athletic defenders and more advanced offensive schemes. And I'm not exactly thrilled that he was working out with Markelle Fultz's trainer to change his shot so close to the NBA. Like, you really don't want to tweak something as subtle as a jump shot. But then again, like, maybe that's a sign that he's willing to work on that lack of efficiency. Maybe like this experiment will work better. I don't want to
Let
like.
me ask you, since you're bringing
yeah.
up the cons here, how good can he make this Knicks roster as it's constructed right now?
As it's constructed right now, like I said, I think he could be our primary scorer. I think he's going to actually help the Knicks immediately just because he's an offensive threat that spreads the floor. Right now, our guards, we have good guards, but we don't have great guards. I'd like to see him become our great number 2, and then we can sort of like set that aside and work towards like building a better point guard.
So 17 wins to like 24?
I
The way
mean,
this current
possibly
team
you
is
can't-
The way
constructed,
his
Yeah.
current team is.
What's impressive about him is he played on Duke with Cam Reddish and Zion Williamson, but he had a 33% usage rate, which means that the ball was in his hand a lot.
sure.
And he was still able to average 22 points playing with those guys, So
Hey, 26 or 28 without Zion.
exactly. So
I'll tell you what.
So I think like his ability to score is definitely there. It's just that will that translate to the NBA? Like he's athletic, but is he athletic enough to go by guys at the NBA level?
As far
Yes.
as athleticism
see.
goes, I think he does
see.
have that, but I also feel like he has 2 more levels to his game. I feel like Duke didn't do him justice by any stretch because, again, he had to pick and choose his spots. He had a guy like Zion on the floor. He had a guy like Trey Jones as well as Cam Reddish. He had a 33% usage rate, but that doesn't mean the ball was flowing through him the whole time. You know what I mean? It could have just been, okay, the ball's in my hands, pick and roll or pop and go,
Right, yeah.
one of those. But I feel like in the NBA, his game is more tailored towards an NBA game.
Yep.
And I think he's a day 1 starter on this current constructed team.
I've said this
He's a
before.
That I
Warrior
agree
starter.
with, but I don't know if it's NBA ready just because again, like defensively, he's not there at the NBA level. At the NBA level, that's
Well,
defense is insane.
I feel like outside of Zion, you can say that probably about any college kid. But I think RJ Barrett is probably a notch above just because of his size, his wingspan, his IQ, and like you said, this kid is a dog. Like dogs go after him on defense.
Yeah, so even if he doesn't quite have it right away, the trust is that he'll work towards it. And the other concern I might have is that he might want to do too much, whereas he should probably focus on being a more balanced player, be a good rebounder, good assist man, move the ball, make plays happen, and get your own buckets. So those are the kinds of tweaks that he'd need to make to make it in the NBA. But like for me, right off the bat, he's a starter. I agree with you, TK.
Let's wrap this up. I want to ask you guys what your impression is of his character. We've heard a lot of quotes talking about RJ Barrett himself, saying that he can't wait to play in New York. His dad coming out and saying like he grew up in New York. I don't know. That was weird. Show me a pair of Timbs, RJ Barrett. But what do you
Show me
guys
the
think?
Timbs.
Show me the Timbs.
Show me the layers.
What do you guys think so far about RJ Barrett's character and how he's going to fit in with New York?
I'm a vouch for the kid, right? So the story goes that his mom is from Brooklyn and he has a lot of family from Brooklyn. So he spent majority of his summers here in New York, living in Brooklyn. That's good enough for me. At this point, you know what? He's a Canadian, but that's only by his father's way. He's a New Yorker. We know New Yorkers. The biggity, the New Yorkers, this and that.
He's not just a regular New Yorker.
He's
He's a
not
1988
exactly.
New Yorker, which that speaks
Apparently,
volumes.
from his coach.
From his coach, yeah, that speaks
Right.
volumes. He ain't this Instagram model.
I like the specificity. I gotta be honest, like, and no knock on RJ Barrett, just the whole like, we're gonna rep New York, we're gonna play for the Knicks in that New York style. I feel like I've heard it all before, and I'd rather they just show us than tell us. Having said that, the specificity of 1988 was a nice touch, and it did
That
give
was
it a
brilliant.
little bit of credibility there that they kind of knew what they were talking about. So, I don't know, maybe this is finally the promise of New York that finally pans out. It seems like the kid's got the mentality to want to be great, and I feel like he'll be willing to learn. So I'm hopeful, man. That's
Really
to me,
quick,
that's
before
an
we
important
close this
part.
out, in any other draft, let's say Zion's not there, right? RJ has a chance of going 1 or 2, right? I mean, this guy has a chance of going number 1. I think for us to land him at 3 is huge.
I'll tell you right now, if John Morant didn't have an amazing tournament, I bet he would still be going at number 2 right
I
now.
agree. I agree.
All right, guys, let us know your thoughts. What do you think about RJ Barrett? What do you think about this pick? Do you think he's going to have an immediate impact on the Knicks? Leave it in the comments section below. Like, follow us, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Share the crap out of this video. We got RJ Barrett, new chapter, baby. MadGood Knicks Show. Let's take it to the next segment. What's going on, guys? All right, Far here, Jay there, Steph there. We have a special game for you guys. I like to call this one Compliment Sandwich.
I like games.
In case you didn't see the last segment, in case you're just starting off here, he likes games. But also, we drafted RJ Barrett with the number 3 overall pick. So, how are we going to do this? We're going to go through some pros, we're going to go through some cons, tell you guys a little bit about RJ Barrett, and then you can drop in the comment section shit that we maybe didn't cover. Let us know how this works. Compliment sandwich. We don't want to hurt any feelings here. It's 2019.
2019.
So, we're going to say something nice. Then we're going to say something you could probably improve on. Then we're going to finish it off with something nice. It's a compliment sandwich right there. We're going to go through a couple of these. Y'all ready?
Let's do it.
Ready, Steph.
All right, Steph, let's get the bread here. The bread. All right, this is going to be a
talk
pro.
about it.
Give
Let's
me a
talk about
pro.
Pro. My man, RJ Barrett, I say his pro is his attack mode, hop step, jump step, Euro step, finish around the basket.
All sorts
Yeah.
of
That
stuff.
shit is off the charts. My man can drive to the basket. No matter how tall you are, RJ Barrett will put you down.
Jay,
You want the con?
I want the con.
The salami.
You want the con.
The salami.
You want the
The
con.
cheese.
I will have to say probably his outside shot. He was shooting roughly at 30% in college. However, field goal percentage was 46%. Dude, from the 3, you need to get it up. You need to get it up.
I don't like the way you said that, so I'm going to ask you to follow that one up with a pro because it's 2019. We don't want to hurt no feelings.
We need some cheese.
Oh,
Finish the sandwich, baby. Finish the
okay,
sandwich.
okay. So
Another
you want
ingredient. It's
you
too
want a
bland.
pro.
It's too
You want a
bland.
pro. I have to say the kid is amazing with his assists. The fact he can actually go ahead, look around the floor. He was passing it off to Zion, and he was also on the receiving end on a lot of different things. We all know who his godfather is, so I think he had an impact on his assist game.
Steve Nache.
Interesting. All right, so
Give me a pro. New sandwich. Now it's a new sandwich.
And no, it's the same sandwich, but it's like the other bread with like the sesame on top. Because I'm gonna talk about defense right now.
Is it a
I
Big
think
Mac
it's
here?
Defense.
I'm down
No,
for a
is
Big
that
Mac.
the Whopper? That's what it is.
Whopper.
All right, give us a.
I'm gonna say on the defensive end, I'm pretty impressed at the way he can defend smaller guards.
Yeah.
Not necessarily 2 guards, but whenever there's a switch off that happens, and obviously in the NBA it's gonna happen a lot more often, he's able to close those guys off, close down those angles, and he makes those point guards work, at least in the NCAA. So I think that might translate
That's
to the NBA
a
as
great
well.
point, and I
Yeah.
think he could guard like 1 through 3. All right, you've been too nice to him,
Ooh.
so give me a con here to smack in the middle of these breads that we have.
Oh
Come on.
man,
He's stacking.
the elephant in the room, free throws. Jesus H. I mean, my man is what 66% from the free throw line last season. Terrible. That's just it speaks for itself.
He has to be in motion, I guess.
All
He
right,
always
I
has
feel
to
like
be in
you hurt
rhythm.
some feelings here. Give me a
Speaks for
con to
itself.
wrap this one up.
Oh, your haircut looks much better.
Okay, all right. Wait until he gets to New York. He's gonna be even more
The
fresh.
haircut looks much better, but we want to keep things to his game.
Yes, we
so
do.
I think we like the fact that he is positionless in the sense that he could be a 2, he could potentially be a 3 as well. There's talks about him potentially being more of a wing player in the NBA, but I think for the Knicks, he's going to be that solid 2.
Most definitely.
No, that's a good point. I think
agree.
I'm liking all the bread in the sandwich, which is that's the point of a compliment sandwich. So we hope you guys enjoyed that part. Now some fun facts, sprinkle in a couple cheeses, couple sauces,
Let's
all
see.
that good stuff.
Little fun fact for him.
All right, what you got?
Shoots left-handed, but he's not even left-handed. He's actually right-handed.
Heyo.
Wowzers.
Also another kind of interesting. I mean, that's not a fun fact. This has nothing to do with RJ Barrett. But
Where's
if
this
we
going?
get D'Angelo Russell to have a backcourt with 2 lefties, that'd be pretty interesting. Go ahead.
Very interesting. Has that happened in the NBA before?
It has happened according to our state-of-the-art statisticians. What do we got? Give me something good.
Well, I mean, I'm sure most of the viewers here know that Steve Nash is his godfather, so I'm just gonna like throw that out there. But I'm not taking that.
Okay.
One thing I'm gonna take is that his dad, who else has the same name as RJ Barrett, played in France, and he played for St. John's University, which we all
that's
know are
interesting.
well aware of. We've attended some games. We've even done a semi-documentary series on one of the players,
Yeah.
you, Jay, especially.
Marcus Levette, shout
Marcus
out.
Levette, shout
He's
out.
playing internationally right now.
Internationally, yep. But yeah, I'd say that. He played for St. John's, and RJ lived in France for a little while his dad played in France.
This is a pretty yummy sandwich, I gotta say, guys. This is solid. Chefing it up real nice
Don't
here.
doubt us, baby.
I had the same fun fact, so we're just gonna end this one right here.
All right, give us a boring fact.
A boring fact. When Zion Williamson was out, he was averaging 28 points per game. Holla.
That kind of sounds fun, right?
That does sound like a
So
fun
boring.
Fact, though. Al Barrett.
So boring.
Guys, let us know in the comments section. You got any fun facts, pros, cons? What are you most looking forward to in RJ's game? Let us know. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the crap out of this video. We love y'all. It's the MadGood Knicks Show. Let's take it to the next segment.
Guys, what's going on? It's your boy Jay. Welcome back. This is Mad News. Let's begin by talking about one of the biggest robberies that took place in NBA history. And I'm glad the Knicks didn't cave and that David Griffin, the GM of the Pelicans, instead pulled a Danny Ocean.
Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house.
Been practicing this speech, haven't
A
you?
little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed
No, it was
it.
good. I liked it.
He finessed what needed to set up New Orleans for the future, even though, guess what? They're gonna be underwater soon. Hashtag global warming, hashtag Arctic is melting. Don't worry, at least Zion's vertical inch can rise above anything.
If I can see it, then I can do it.
After watching the NBA Finals, Durant tore his Achilles. Clay as well went down with an injury with a torn ACL. Even Steve Kerr mentioned that they were in uncharted territory. However, I disagree. Only Tom Holland is in uncharted territory. We have to admit, this changes course a little bit for the New York Knicks. Do we still go after our top priority? This changes other free agent decisions as well. We already hear rumors of Kyrie's potential desire to head to Brooklyn instead of the Knicks. My thought process really just stops at the question why, and then I begin to get brain farts. Why the Nets over the Knicks' storied franchise? The possibility of Russell coming over the bridge is enticing though. He fits the youth movement, and as well, he's only 23 years old. Amazing player that took it to another level when healthy with the Nets, and of course working with friend of the show, Chris Brickley. It just elevated him even further in the game. Let's hope he stays in the area, locally, whether Nets or Knicks. Just leave the damn Arizona bottles at home, bro.
My initial reaction was for him to stay off the weed. Stay off the weed. The weed.
Trier's back on a team option, an expected move for the Knicks to make. This was an amazing pickup last season when going undrafted. A scary thought, though, is the fact that the rookies don't really last long with the Knicks. Let's see if some of these names sound familiar. 2003, Mike Sweetney. Sweetney lasted just 2 seasons before being traded to the Chicago Bulls. Let's go to 2005, Channing Frye, David Lee. Frye left via trade just 2 seasons in. The Knicks let Lee walk after his rookie scale contract ended. 2006, Ronaldo Balkman and Marty Collins. Balkman and Collins were not NBA successes, and their respective stints with the Knicks were short and also trash. 2007, Wilson Chandler. Chandler was included in the Carmelo Anthony deal after 3+ seasons. 2008, Danilo Gallinari. Gallinari also left in the Melo deal after 2+ seasons. 2009, Jordan Hill. Hill was traded to the Rockets in the middle of his rookie season, for crying out loud. 2011, Iman Shumpert. Shumpert stayed until midway through his 4th campaign, being traded to Cleveland. 2013, Tim Hardaway Jr., the Knicks sent Hardaway to the Hawks after 2 seasons, and guess what? He returned in the 2017 offseason on a new contract, only to be traded again. It's not personal. 2015, Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis could have broken the trend, but he infamously decided to force his way out in a January trade to the Dallas Mavericks. Now, let's see what the new president and GM, that after drafting RJ Barrett, we actually keep this man past his rookie scale contract. All of this has been the segment Mad News. Please tune in next time to see what's going on with the Knicks and what's going on in the rest of the NBA.
Okay, guys, we're back for another segment. I'm here with Steph and TK. We're talking RJ Barrett, of course, but particularly now we're talking about RJ Barrett's ceiling in the NBA. So I'm going to kick it off with you, Steph. What do you think? What do you think RJ Barrett's ceiling is?
Why so serious? I think RJ Barrett is a number 3 pick. I think that that's an incredible thing. All right, listen. Former and current players. I'm going to take out the former players. I don't want to talk about them. Too much of a pool to choose from, so I'm going to stick with the current guys. My number 1 choice would have to be DeMar DeRozan for a couple of reasons. A, not that good of a shooter. Okay, I know my man RJ Barrett is working with Drew Hanlon, fixing up his foreman shot. That might increase, but with a 30% 3-point shot for the NCAA, I kind of find him comparable to DeMar DeRozan in that aspect. Another aspect is his kind of inconsistency with his defense. DeMar DeRozan isn't also known as a lockdown defender, even though he does have the body type for it and the wingspan. I know RJ's wingspan is 6'10", he's a 6'7" dude, but those aspects are very similar. And another thing, I know Jay mentioned that his assist game is really proper, and you can kind of argue that, I guess, because Duke doesn't really have that much of actually, they do have offensive players that they can kind of move the ball around, but I still think that if RJ Barrett comes into the league, his comparison with DeMar DeRozan would probably suit him best, just in terms of an all-around balance, but not that much of a go-to player for any franchise.
So I have 2 players here. I like that comparison.
Thanks.
But I have
DeMar DeRozan, RIP. Toronto Raptors won the
you were the sacrificial lamb. But
Still love you, bro.
I have 2 players here. First, I'm going to start off with his floor. I think he could be a Rudy Gay type of player as his
Rudy
floor.
Gay. I like that.
And by Rudy Gay, I suggest that he could be a high-volume scorer in this league, semi-inefficient, and never be the primary scorer on a team. He could be the second to third option. So I see, that as his floor, which is not a bad floor, but I think if we're taking a guy number 3 overall, which we're happy to have him, of course, we love RJ Barrett, but his floor would be a Rudy Gay, and his ceiling. Bear with me here, guys. I'm going big time. I am going big time. I have him
KD, please.
as a taller version of none other than D. Wade. And let me put it to you this way. D. Wade, for majority of his career, didn't have a very good or lethal perimeter jump shot. No. He was solid at taking it to the basket, and he was very good, a very good rebounder in the 2-guard position. I think
RJ
RJ
more than solid at taking it at the basket, but
no, absolutely more than solid. But I feel as though the ceiling for RJ Barrett could be a D. Wade type of player, where he can lead a team. He can be very consistent and efficient once he develops and matures his game. But I'm not too worried about his jump shot, because we've seen players do this time and time again. D. Wade, he worked from the perimeter. He worked from mid-range on in.
Right.
He didn't have much of a perimeter game. So I feel like RJ Barrett, his floor, Rudy Gay, ceiling, D. Wade. Don't quote me on it, but we'll see in 2 to 3 years.
So I have a question to add on to that. So
Shoot.
you're comparing him to D. Wade. D. Wade, for me personally, from what I've seen throughout his career, he moves well without the ball. That's one thing that RJ Barrett kind of lacks, is the fact that he needs the ball in his hands in order to be effective. So do you think something like a skill like that can be learned? Can
Absolutely.
it be developed? Or is that something that's innate and that he won't be able to develop?
Here, I'll tell you why. Because Dwayne Wade moved exceptionally well without the ball, right? For majority of his career, without a jump shot. So it's not like he was moving without the ball to set up a jump shot. He was moving without the ball to create and cut to the basket.
Yeah.
So I feel as though RJ Barrett, yes, just like D. Wade, who played better with the ball in his hands because he was able to attack and he can get to the basket like none other.
Yeah.
I feel as though RJ Barrett will strive and thrive. Excuse me, what I meant to say,
Okay, Walt.
in a modern offense with the ball in his hand. Shout out to Clyde, baby. Puma forever. And, I feel as though the ball will be in his hands and he'll be a better player that way. But absolutely, can I see him cutting back door to the basket? I can see him playing within the mid-range area and learning a little shimmy, shake, fade away with his left hand. But absolutely,
Awesome.
I agree.
I gotta say, I'm really impressed with these choices. DeMar DeRozan, I think, is excellent. I think even D Wade is not a bad option if you want to be a little bit more hopeful. And you know what? The mid-range game is coming back in the NBA.
it
So
is.
RJ Barrett might be coming in at just the right time. So
Don't tell that to James Harden.
I won't. So real quick, just to make it brief, having said what you guys said, do you think that he's going to be our go-to scorer on the Knicks? Steph, real quick, your answer.
I mean, he has to be. Who else is going to be our go-to scorer? RJ's going to be our third pick. If he's not, hopefully he's not another Frank Ntilikina. So, yeah.
Well, mind you, as of right now, today, the draft just aired, guys. RJ Barrett is our go-to scorer, but we are a couple days away from free agency, so we don't know who we might pick up that might be wind up our primary
And
scorer.
I agree also, he's definitely our primary scorer despite all the Frank Ntilikina workout videos that we've been seeing.
Hey, man, he's been knocking down them threes.
All right, guys, so that's it. You heard it here first. RJ Barrett's ceiling, DeMar DeRozan, D Wade, Rudy Gay. Who knows? That's the exciting part. But we'll catch you on the next segment. Thanks for joining us. TK? Steph?
Later. Oh, God, here we go again.
Yeah!
Oh, my God. Where'd you come from?
Welcome to another edition
Man
of
with a cervix.
You With It or
Really
Not.
excited about
Yeah.
RJ. Got served.
Yo, so since I don't have a mic and y'all speak over me, it's gonna sound like shit.
Perfect.
Perfect. That's what we wanted to do anyway.
That was bland.
Can I just
What were you
explain the
saying,
rules? Can I just explain the rules?
Explain the rule as.
Yeah! Welcome to another edition of You With It or Not. Are you?
Or not.
It's T, it's J, it's Pete, it's Steph,
I think they've seen us from the prior
it's
four
Team
segments.
Yo, it's Team MadGood versus Team Nick Show. Y'all know how this goes. The audience, we asked on Instagram 5-6 questions. 6 will be a tiebreaker. Basically, what these guys have to do is just guess where y'all guess.
And also, get that Barney ass case.
Has anyone cheated here today?
The Barney case.
I have not cheated
Without
today.
further ado,
Without
let's
Yeah, just not today.
play the game.
All right, let's do it.
No, I
What?
we're talking about cheating here.
All right, here we go. Team MadGood.
Hi.
Consists of Qatar and Steph.
It's
Team Nick Show consists of TK and Jay.
The winners.
Without further ado, you guys have to guess where the audience guessed. Every question is worth 1 point until the last question, which is worth 3.
Until the one we're about to win, he always changes.
Go.
I feel like Jeopardy.
Question number 1. Rookie season.
Hey,
How many points per game will RJ Barrett average? The two options were less than 15 or more than 15. Where do you guys think the audience decided? Team MadGood, we're going to start with you guys.
It's always so difficult because you know what you think, but then you're trying to think for the
I'll
audience.
just spit it.
spit it out.
I feel like our audience is ever the optimist,
Yes.
and they probably said more.
Team Nick Show.
We're gonna go with more.
Yeah, just more.
The answer is more. 83% to 17.
Oh, easy.
Question
No, you don't get them down.
number
Y'all niggas losers.
I was like that.
Will KD sign with the Knicks? Yes or no? Team Nick Show, you're on the clock.
Yeah, Team Nick Show. Yeah, you got a stupid ass face.
Yeah. You know what's even funny though? You waiting for me to answer because you don't have an answer. Fuck out here.
That's true.
The host
the
said
answer-
Team Nick Show.
The answer
Jump the gun?
is. My partner said no, but I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna
What's
go
that
with
mean?
him. And he said no.
Nick Show,
I'm gonna go with
no.
him.
Team MadGood.
Are we signing KD?
I think it's no.
Yeah, it's got to be a no post Achilles. I love how.
57% said yes, we will sign the Knicks. No points to anyone.
Y'all some fools.
Question
No, you the
number
fool.
3.
Why would they even think we were
Shut up.
Will
Nice one, DeMar DeRozan. You cost him a chip.
more than 15 points per game next season? Yes or no? Team MadGood, we're gonna start with you guys.
Can you repeat the name of the
one?
Can you repeat the name of the player?
Kevin Knox, can you repeat the name of the
15,
player?
15
Can you
or
use
more?
it in a sentence?
Well, that means like what? 2 players gonna average more than 15?
That's not the winning.
I feel like they said yes to that too.
Okay.
I just feel like they're fans of these kids and they're gonna say yes.
Okay.
Is he gonna
Okay.
be MVP?
Yes.
Team Nick
Yes.
Show.
Listen, I know our fans. Our fans said no.
With 61%, they said yes. Woo!
Oh,
Team
damn
MadGood.
Let's go,
baby.
I need to talk to these fans. We need to have a conversation.
You gotta stop thinking of the answer and start thinking of what they think the answer would be.
Oh, so I
Oh.
can just be wrong?
Thanks for teaching us how to play the game, Pete. All right.
Thanks for teaching the
Question
winners
number
how to
4.
play.
Teaching them.
Wins next season for the Knicks. Is it going to be plus 30? Is it going to be minus 30? Where did the fans vote?
that's a good
Team
one.
Nick Show. What do you got for me? Plus 30 or minus 30?
That's a good one.
Are we Nick Show? No.
Yeah.
I thought we were Team MadGood.
Nah,
Plus, damn.
you're not that good.
Buy yourself time.
Plus
Can I
like a
phone a
pregnancy
friend?
stick.
You sound like
Phone
J.
a
Cole.
friend.
Said, damn.
Plus like the pregnancy stick.
I'll go with what Jay said. He said plus. Usually my partner Steph and we win these things, so I can't really vouch for this. But
Plus
I'm
like
going
the
with
pregnancy
yeah.
stick.
Team MadGood. What do you got?
Plus 31.
Well,
Well,
that's
if we
why
got,
Steph and I work
if we
together,
got Kevin
bro.
Knox and the other guy averaging 15, I mean, they probably right? Yeah.
Plus 30.
I mean, I don't know. Yes, plus 30.
Plus 30. With 55% of the vote going to plus 30 wins, both of you guys get a point.
Nice.
Score is 3-2. And
Service
before you
boy.
know it, we're already at the final question.
Wow.
Which is worth 3 points.
That was so much fun. It went by so fast.
3 whole points.
See it in your
Time
face.
flies when you're having no fun.
Will the final question worth 3 points? You guys know the rules here too. You gotta guess it right, and then you gotta guess the percent. So, and it's not Price is Right rules.
We
Right,
don't
right.
get a gift after.
It's just whoever's closest. So,
Right.
will the New York Knicks have 2 max players on the roster next season? This includes potentially an injured KD. Will the New York Knicks have 2 max players on the roster next season? Yes or no? And give me a percentage.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like, who's winning? Max. Right, but it's still Max. I don't know.
Nick
Like, that's
Show.
the thing. Like,
I
are
need
they
an
thinking
answer.
the way we're thinking? We
Nick
answered
Show.
first last time.
I know
Fuck outta
Chelsea's
here.
right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yes, we will have 2 max contracts.
Percentage.
The percentage from 1 to 100.
67.
That's a good one. You felt that one. I saw you felt that one.
Yeah.
That's right. He reached into
Right.
the ether.
He was like,
Team MadGood.
If you guys win this one, you deserve it. Just off that.
I trust you.
We're gonna say yes, 51%.
51%
Bob.
said yes. With 76%
Holy shit!
Hold on.
saying no.
Whoa!
The winner is MadGood. Team MadGood. Congratulations.
That's
Y'all
crazy.
won 3-2.
I want to
So-
say congratulations
Ow! Oh,
to the
sorry,
champion.
sorry.
Damn, man.
Oh God.
My
Was
bad.
that on film?
I forgot that was your horrible hand.
That was real.
Yeah.
My bad. I'm so
Work
Let
sorry.
me ask
much,
you guys
you know?
this: when you say
Sorry.
max players, you do understand like D'Lo is a max player, right?
On a different
like
scale.
right
contract.
on a
Not
rookie
these
scale.
5-year-olds, no.
So
Right,
just
Julius
for
Randle's
all
a
of
max
you,
player.
Damasas out there, I want to make sure you guys understand the semantics of all of these type of things going on.
Oh, toss my
Okay.
water.
This is where we have to educate the fans.
Thanks.
So, you know, this is where we have
Stone
to
Cold Steve Austin, baby.
They want to be educated.
That's Triple H.
Do you
course
want to
they
be
do.
educated? Do y'all want to be educated?
Not condescendingly, but we should know what we're talking
No,
about.
I love being condescending.
If they know better than us, why the hell are they tuning in?
Oh!
Oh!